We can all breathe. We can all relax now. All is right within the world of Montreal. The city is happy. The Montreal Canadiens fan base is happy. And the curfew boys are happy
I'm
to be
not.
well, then you can get out. We're happy to be back for a surprising yet not surprising episode. It's the Cole Caufield extension episode. Sammy here with Chris and Anthony, gentlemen.
Hey now.
Chris, tell me
You
you're
know?
happy at least, not like Anthony over here.
Of
Of course
course.
I'm happy. Just
Uh,
trying to spice things up here, guys.
You sound like a miserable. I'm not happy here. How could you not be happy? This fucking everybody was so impatient with this no Cole Caufield contract news. You know, Michael Pizzetta got signed. People were happy. We're like, but they ain't Cole Caufield news. You know, during the Stanley Cup playoffs, you know, it's like, yeah, great, Florida won, but where's the Cole Caufield news? It's like, people, we said this before. It was going to get done. There wasn't going to be any team offering Caulfield an offer sheet. You know, I wasn't worried. I know Chris and Auntie weren't worried, but nonetheless, happy it's done. What a way to start your week on a Monday morning with that announcement. And guys, we're gonna get right into it. So Caulfield, 8 years extension at 7.85 million per year as a cap hit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. It's the perfect contract. It's probably the perfect contract for Cole Caufield. It's the perfect contract for the Montreal Canadiens. Please share your thoughts because there's lots of people in this city who are happy. Believe it or not, there's probably lots of people in this city that aren't too thrilled about the contract. There's a lot of Toronto Maple Leafs fans that are pissed off, but we don't give a shit about them, do we? There's a lot of Ottawa.
Why are they pissed off? I don't understand.
Because they're Maple Leafs fans. You know what it means? You talk about Anthony being unhappy, you sound like a Toronto Maple Leafs fan earlier.
Okay.
I don't want to insult you. I don't want to put you into that same category.
It was
Toronto
a
Maple Leafs
freaking
fans.
joke, but now you took it to another level by calling me a Leafs fan.
I don't want you to be an Ottawa Senators fan either. You know, there's some Sens fans that are pissed off too. You know?
But my question is, hold on, put all this aside. My question is, yes, I understand they're Toronto Leaf fans and Ottawa's, but what's their reasoning behind being pissed about this contract? It has nothing to do with them. Unless
I know.
It makes no sense.
Well, because Toronto Maple Leafs fans feel they're entitled to give their opinions and to share their feelings when nobody gives a shit.
It's like Matthews signing an extension. Oh, I'm so fucking
I
mad.
think it's because they know they're like shit. The Canadiens probably saved a lot of money on the cap for the future to help them grow this team, and then they're all thinking like because they need something to distract them from the fucking disaster that's going on within their own team. They don't like the new GM. They don't like the new GM. They don't know what's going on with Austin Matthews. They don't know what's going on with the core four. Meanwhile, we're building our core knowing that we're not spending fucking almost 50% of our salary cap on our top players. So screw you, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Did you want to give your opinion, Sammy, or did you want to give?
I mean, I could. I mean, look, I could definitely start with whatever my thoughts are. It's just, it was so obvious that he wasn't going to get more than Nick Suzuki.
But isn't it equivalent to Nick?
25,000 less per year.
It's
25,000.
Looking at it now, it's
exactly
7,875, and he's
okay, and he's 7,850.
It's $25,000 difference.
Well, look here. Let me break it down to everybody. So for the first 3 seasons of this extension, so from 2023 up until 2026, so for the first 3 years, he's actually making a total, including signing bonuses. He's getting a signing bonus for the first 2 seasons of $5 million. So his total salary for the first 3 seasons is $9.975 million. So basically, he's getting the highest amount of money he can make in this new contract within the first 3 years. Okay, so from 2023 to 2026, he's getting $9.975 million. This is my sources here is capfriendly.com, which is an amazing website. 2026 and the 2026-27 season, it drops to 8.705 million. 2027-28 season, it drops to 6.215. And then the final 3 years of his contract from 2028 to the 2031 season, it goes down to $5.985 million. But the average cap hit is 7.85. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. You're basically paying him all the money right now at this young age, still not in his prime, but almost there. We know he's there to score goals. So you're giving him all that money now. But when he turns, 27, 28, who could be in the prime shape of his career, and you're not even paying him over 9 million, not even over 7 million. This is what happens when you have an agent as your general manager, someone who built an agency, who built an empire doing this. Like, I don't think we could understand or comprehend, like, not that Kent Hughes fleeced Cole Caufield. That's not what I'm trying to say, but like, if within those first 4 or 5 years, Caufield has the potential of scoring 40 goals, maybe even 50, and you're paying a guy under $9 or $8 million, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it sounds beautiful, and I'm gonna keep this short. So Chris, you jump right after me. I know you have a lot to say. I'm gonna keep this very short. The only thing that worries me, and this all comes down to character. So you nailed it, Sam, about agent wise, salary wise. Ken Hughes killed it with this. Like, it's a beautiful contract. It doesn't affect us long term, especially when it hits his prime and he, plays the way he's supposed to at that age. And getting that salary, it's perfect. What worries me, so this comes down to the Habs fan having that worry. Joey mentioned in our group chat today that he's scared about his injury, his shoulder.
Yeah.
It's something to think about, but that's not what I'm worried about. This comes down to what I've always said in the last in these episodes about why I like football better than hockey. Okay. When it comes to the salary cap in football, you get paid on performance. Mm-hmm. Here's your guaranteed salary, but you want more. I want to see performance. I want to see the touchdowns. I want to see the sacks. I want to see this, or else you're not getting that money.
Okay.
Sorry?
I said, which sacks do you want to see, Anthony?
So when it comes to the NHL,
Jesus Christ Almighty!
Sorry,
wow.
Go ahead.
I'm not fucking editing that. Too bad.
No, not editing. But now you put me in a fucking position where I'm like,
about lack of maturity. Why not? Anyways, go ahead. He's not getting a performance bonus. He's not getting paid for performance.
Here's your salary. This guy can literally sit on his fucking ass for the next 8 years.
You really think he's gonna do that?
I'm not saying he would. That's where I said at the beginning, it comes down to character. And I'm really hoping that we have a player that is true to his character and continues playing and gets better as he ages and to his prime. Because what worries me is getting that salary and doing nothing.
Did you hear his press conference though?
No, I missed it.
Okay.
But words are words, Sam. Words are words. He could have said, I'm gonna fucking no. Words are words. I'm really hoping. Again, that's my only worry about this contract. I love the contract, but what worries me is, and we've seen this all across the NHL many times, there's a handful of players who get paid so much money and still perform. The Crosbys, the Ovechkins, the McDavids, those the McKinnons, these guys, they love the sport. They have a lot of passion for this sport. Then you have, the Scott Gomez who got the money and just sat down. You got the Malakov back in the day.
Malakov, Jesus Christ.
Remember that?
Do you remember the details of his contract? Because I don't.
I remember that he got fucking paid and then went to fake an injury and went to go ski. Remember that? That's what pisses me off about the whole structure in the NHL. Okay, we need, not us, but I think where the passion of hockey will come back for a lot of players is if they change that structure in the salary situation. And this is all comes down to Bettman, right? Stop paying players all this money and make it guaranteed. Because, like I said, look, I'm not saying Carey Price did this purposely. I'm not. But imagine the guy got $10 million, got injured 2 years later, and that guy's sitting at home for the next 10 years making
He doesn't
that.
want.
I'm not
He
saying it's
doesn't,
his fault. I'm not
yeah,
saying it's his
okay.
fault, but just
But that's the
understand.
CBA. That's the CBA.
But try to understand where I'm trying to come from. You get these guarantees, and yeah, I hurt my toe. I'm done. That's what worries me. That's the only thing that worries me.
This is not basketball.
So
Well,
put that all aside.
real,
I'm happy
real,
with the
real
contract.
quick. Find me a player that signed the contract and said, "I'd actually do this for free if I could." He's like, "I can't believe I have this contract. I love the game so much. I'd be doing it for free."
I'm not saying to do it for free.
No, but Caufield said that. I know words are words, but
No, and
I
I'm
don't.
happy.
I don't think the kid's saying those words just to be like, "Yo, look at me, look how good I am."
No, and I'm not saying that,
So,
and that's what I said. It comes down to character, and I strongly believe that we have a group of players in that dressing room that want to wear that logo with passion.
And they do, and he said that he said something
Yeah.
to that point, but he said to me, and I don't mean sorry to cut you off, but like
No.
it's always a legitimate concern, but you have to understand too that it's I think the kids in our system are in it for the right reasons. Caufield mentions, like, I love this group of guys that we have. We want to win together, and you see it and feel it. You see it through them looks. They're that generation that uses social media for almost everything. They're almost always together. Gooley, Jack Guy, Slavkovsky, Caufield, Suzuki. At least those 5 kids, even before they even started their NHL career, Gooley, Jack Guy, Slavkovsky, Philip Massar, they're hanging out together. You feel that unity amongst these kids, that they want to not just play on the same team, they want to win it together. To me, though, the important thing was he goes, "This is Nick Suzuki's team. Absolutely, there was no way that I'm getting paid more than him." Along those lines, Chris, I give you the floor.
You set the floor,
You got
you
those
set the
facts.
stage for so many things that I want to say. I do want to say this much. I don't really give a shit how much he's making in the first years versus the last years and whether or not it makes sense. I really don't even care about the details, his movement clauses, and how that changes over the years.
Mhm.
I think at the end of the day, what I do want to concentrate on, in my opinion, is that cap hit, that $7.85 million cap hit that is going to impact the Montreal Canadiens over the next 8 seasons. The cap should be going up. They took a hit for COVID. I don't think there was a big movement in terms of the salary cap, but I genuinely think that, especially with the ads coming onto the jerseys, all the different things, when they catch up, I'm telling you that salary cap is going to go up. There's going to be more room on every team, but more importantly than that, who can score anywhere between 35 to 45, maybe even up to 50 goals if he stays healthy, goes for way more than that. Way more than that. And I'm tired. Like I really don't want to talk about that team, but you mentioned that team who's just a little bit west of us, who wears ugly blue shirts with a stupid leaf in the middle. They cannot win. They cannot win because all of those players were selfish, were not ready to make the sacrifices in terms of their salary to achieve the ultimate goal in winning. John Tavares making the salary that he's making is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews, ridiculous. Well, he deserves it, but you know, to Sam, now I'm bringing it back to why, Sammy, I find you set the stage perfectly for these points. I genuinely believe they're not talking into the camera and saying, "Yeah, I really want to be here in Montreal and I really want to stay in Montreal." It's no, no, no. I am going to sacrifice. I am going to do what it takes to put this team ahead and to put this team and Kent Hughes and Marty St. Louis and the whole group of us in a position where we can bring in the most amount of talented players, the most assets, and put ourselves in the best position to bring the Stanley Cup back here to Montreal. And it's not just talking the talk. I see something like this. We see this contract being signed, and it's walking the walk. And then you set the example. The second point that you said, Sammy, is this is Nick Suzuki's team. If Nick Suzuki's salary is going to be kind of the determining factor, we'll get there later on in the show as to who might come in. But if you're talking about other players coming in and you're saying, nah, you accept to be under Nick Suzuki or very close to Nick Suzuki, or you keep walking. Are you a team guy? Are you willing to come to Montreal? Do you actually want to bring in the cup here, or do you want to get the fuck out and go elsewhere?
So
that's the beauty of this contract, and there's so much to take away. There's so many messages. There's so many things.
He nailed it. Just end this episode.
No, there's more. Hold on.
He nailed it.
You know what I think? Though?
Well said.
I think Kent Hughes remembered what Patrice Bergeron did for the Boston Bruins. When Kent Hughes was Patrice Bergeron's agent, and this was after, I forget which season, but it was like the season where Bergeron was like not just the best centerman in the league, and he like not just defensively, he put up points too. In his new contract negotiation, he could have easily taken a $10 million contract. He decided to take I'm trying to remember to the best of my memory here. I don't have Cap Friendly in front of me. But he got like he got paid between $6 or $8 million, and apparently Kent Hughes was like, "Yo, you could get more than that." Like, in a sense, like why? And he goes, "No, I want this team to still have money to put together a winning team."
In 2016, $8.75 million.
Yeah, he could have easily gotten like 10, 11, but he only took that amount. And he said, he goes, "The reason why is I want this team to have enough money to put together a winning team." And I think, and I truly believe, without any facts here, I truly believe that had a huge influential impact on Kent Hughes. And I have a feeling Kent Hughes probably, I'm sure he had that in the back of his mind. Like, look, I'll offer this to Cole. But look, our best player is Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki plays over 20 minutes a night. He's our first line center. He's the captain, plays on the power play, plays regular 5-on-5, plays on the penalty kill. Cole Caufield, he plays 82 games a year so far. But goals are goals. Like, you have to pay the goal scorers. That's why we paid tickets to go watch the games, to go watch goals. And Cole Caufield might be the closest thing we have to a 40-goal scorer in a long time. Last time was Kovalev at, like, I think 36. No, sorry. Kovalev had 80 points. Pacioretty was the last one to almost get 40 at one point. Like, we're going way back. We're like, listen, Cole Caufield scored 26 goals in 46 games before he got injured, before he got that shoulder injury. He's on pace for 46 goals. He was on pace for 46 goals.
Yep.
I wasn't around. I don't remember Stéphane Richer in 89 when he did. I was only 1 year old. Like we're paying him to score goals, but we're paying him under the cap hit of under $8 million.
No,
and for 8 years. For 8 years after it's going to climb.
I'm going to say this, and the Curfew Boys put out a tweet, and it got a very good positive reaction. To my surprising, we have to give a special thank you to Marc Bergevin. I'm not even apologizing for it. I am thanking Marc Bergevin for trading Pacioretty for Nick Suzuki. I am thanking Marc Bergevin for signing Nick Suzuki at that $7.9 million, whatever. I'm thanking Marc Bergevin for giving Nick Suzuki that contract. I'm thanking Marc Bergevin for paving the way for Kent Hughes to give Cole Caufield this contract.
And
I'm not apologizing. I don't care if Marc Bergevin. I don't care if he made 20 bad moves in a row. It takes just one good move to create a good ripple effect. And honestly, this is it. To me, this is just my opinion, and I'm not apologizing for it.
And it's valid, and it's. I mean, look, if we want to build a future here and create this quote unquote dynasty that we've been saying, this is it. And this is this is the this is how you do it. You don't overplay players.
Yeah.
Let me bring this back, and Joey might kill me right now, but
who cares?
Patriots had a dynasty for 20 years. Okay, and Kraft and Belichick built this team. Players took sacrifices of, cutting their salary. Tom Brady, who deserved fucking the world of money. Okay, yes, Joey, he deserved fucking billions of dollars.
A hot model wife isn't enough, Joey. Okay, he deserves more than that.
And Tom Brady took a cut year after year after year just to make room for other weapons of the team to win year over year over year. And I think this is what Kent Hughes and Gorton are doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it right, Chris. You really nailed it. And I know I said it before that the only thing that worries me about this big salary is hopefully he doesn't decline after a couple of years because he's guaranteed that money. But you know what? Scratch that. I mean, it's still a worry, but it all comes down to character. And when he said this is Suzuki's team, that is setting the tone, like you said, Chris. And I didn't think about it when you said it. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, this is setting the tone of Nick Suzuki's team. He will be the highest salarized player of this team. If you want to come to this team and win this cup and build this team, it's take it close, under, or get the fuck out. So players like, and I'm probably opening the door to the next topic here, players like Dubois.
We'll get to him later. I'm still not done talking about Caufield.
But players like Dubois or anybody else that wants to come to this team and wants more than that $7.875 million, well, get the fuck out, because you know what? We're going to build this team with all these young players. And if Kent does this right, guys, look who's left under. There's no more veterans. Okay, well, besides Edmondson and Savard,
there you go.
All young players. So the salaries coming up in the next couple of years are all going to be base salaries.
But you wait and see. Exactly. You wait and see when the Hoffman contracts are gone, when the Dvorak contract,
the Gallagher contract is gone.
That's going to be tough to sell. But but at least look, eventually Hoffman's going to go. Eventually Dvorak's going to go. Eventually Armia's going to go. Joel Edmondson. Well, there's still rumors that they're probably shopping him before the draft, or he gets traded at the draft, or again at the deadline. This David Savard, eventually his contract's going to go. All that money left, it's for who? It's to sign. It's to give Caden. What if you give Caden Gooley 8 years at $6 million? But this guy, this kid becomes a number one centerman, a two-way.
Imagine building a dynasty with your highest paid player, $7.875 million.
But I get the feeling, Chris, you're probably going to add to this. I get the feeling that if these kids literally, and the kids, I mean the young ones, it starts with Suzuki, but if Caufield, Gooley, Xhekaj, even Slafkovsky are all talking to us yo, boys, get what if we're going to get paid, we're going to be millionaires, but if they're yo, if we get what we're worth between the $4 and the $6 million, at least for those three that I'm talking about. I'm talking about Gooley. I'm talking about Xhekaj, maybe $4 million. Slafkovsky, if he could become a 20 goal scorer, what could he get? Maybe between 5, 6. But if those guys are getting that type of money, and there's still room in the cap to pay, geez, I don't know. What if eventually you pay Lane Hudson, but what if he makes him too? What if he only makes the same amount as Gooley when he could be worth almost a Cale Makar? So I'm not going to go that far, but I get this feeling that the kids are talking yo, we get paid, but let's make sure there's enough money for management to build a team that we could fucking win, and maybe win sooner rather than later. You know what I mean? Like, do you not get that vibe? Like, it's a possibility, but I think we're on the right track here in terms of like not being overpaid, basically.
Chris,
So
say your point, and I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna add to that, Sam. Later, go.
I want to say two things. And like I want to spit. I want to wipe this off my tongue because again, I have to compliment Boston now.
Wait, hold on. What the hell is going on tonight?
I have no idea. I don't know
what
he's spitting out and
spitting and tongue. What the?
Well, we all know what he did.
It's
how are your
just,
knees?
he's a bad.
How your knees feeling? Your knees are good. Let's keep going.
No, I don't want to compliment the fucking Bruins, but it really does seem, and we've alluded to this many times in the season, towards the end, the culture that is being established. So I want to say that if Suzuki and Caufield can be leading the ways with their respective contracts, and then what you guys just said, I'm so happy that you guys brought it to that because I want to talk about the young guys. If they're all willing, and again, we're not asking them to take 5-6 million off their contract, but I think Cole Caufield, I mean, you look back in the day, PK Subban was getting 9 million, and this is several years later. If you can shave off 2 million, 1.5 million, 2 million, 1.5 million off of every deal, well, 5-star players who are taking, let's say, 2 million off their contract either, that's $10 million. That's another superstar, or that's another star player and great support player that you could bring in one given year. But the most important, and I like to stick on the culture front, and this is going to be very telling too. We're going to get into it, but the Pierre-Luc Dubois, like the types of players like that, it creates a certain filter because again, if you want to stay, I want to go back home, I want to play. Do you want to come back home and play, or do you want to get paid? And you cannot circumvent, you can't dodge it. If they're going to create this type of culture where money is secondary, do you want to get paid? Do you want to retire? Do you want to retire with an extra $10 million in the bank? Or do you want to be a fucking legend when you set foot in the city of Montreal? What do you want? 10 million more, or a fucking certified hockey legend, tears coming out of fucking every home when that 25th Stanley Cup comes here? Like, to me, if they can establish that culture, you're not only putting yourself in an environment to win, you're also clearing out any selfish, money hungry players who are just coming to get a paycheck. And that, my friends, is what's so exciting. Well, I'd say is coming out as a result of this contract signing. And so we'll lead into the PLD discussions later just because of the news that broke out tonight. But I'm so excited to see what could happen, because if a player like him truly wants to come and help the Canadiens win, and he wants to fucking break his back doing so, well, guess what? You have an opportunity to prove it by signing for $8 million or less for a long term.
And I think you said it. I think it already started. So you said build that culture. I think this Cole Caufield signing is what established what the culture is for this team going forward. You said it before, Chris. This is Nick Suzuki's team. Right now, put the Gallagher and the price of everybody aside, that is where they set the tone for salary. You want to come here, it's that or less. And I think that's the culture that they built. And we're going to build from under. They're going to build with this young team. Get rid of all the veterans slowly. These contracts are going to die out, like Gallagher, you said.
Well, you wait. Well, because exactly at that point, once those contracts are gone, Caufield is going to kind of be a veteran, a young one, but still a veteran. Suzuki will, Caden Gooley will, Arbor Jack guy.
But that's what I'm trying to say is that we're going to build this team with the young core that we have. And I'm going to thank Bergevin again. No, because how many times do we have this conversation a few years back when Bergevin was here, when he used to get mad at trade deadline of Why isn't he trading? Why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he making big moves for the playoff fight or whatever? And Bergevin always said it at every press conference. He is not touching his young core. He is not touching his prospects. He's not touching his draft picks. And because of that, Joey, okay, and everybody else out there who hates Bergevin, don't get me wrong.
Too bad. Facts are facts. They don't care about your feelings. I'm sorry.
Don't get me wrong. Bergevin fucked up in a lot of ways for salary. Okay, he was a bad contract signing guy, and it's a given.
Except for Suzuki, the only good one.
Okay,
yeah.
Put all that aside, those little minor moves that he made in trades and the untouchables. Every year he said it. I am not touching this. I am not touching that. And everything he did not touch is now coming to life now.
Yeah.
Now we're all fucking seeing it.
And he drafted Caufield too, by the way. Huh? I forgot to mention.
Exactly. He drafted Caufield.
Drafted Gooley. Found Arbor Jack guy. Signed him. Drafted Harris, who we're gonna keep for now. I still love him. Absolutely, Anthony.
And I think Kent is gonna come in and kind of like,
redefine.
Exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. Redefine the team. But this team that we're seeing in front of us is Bergevin. And we got mad every trade deadline and every July 1st. Why aren't you doing this? Why doesn't he do that? And he always said at the end of every prospect, why do I have to get rid of my prospects? Why do I have to get rid of my draft picks? Why do I have to get rid of my rookies? They're all coming to life now. And now we have Kent, who's going to, redefine everything, clean everything up. And back to this contract, this signing of Cole is just an announcement to the whole league.
You fucking stole what I wanted to say. Yeah, keep going.
I'm going to say what you said before and what Chris said before. It's a sign saying, hey, guys, this is Nick and Cole's team.
Do you want to be a part of it?
You want to be a part of it? Come on.
I think in its sense, it could attract that. And I know you guys are saying they're building that. They're building that culture of like maybe sacrifice $1 million or $2 million for a potential winning season. Yeah, I get that, but you also gotta know like who really loves the Bruins culture. Like which two guys within? I'm gonna give it away. Add Marty in there. You gotta add Marty in there. Marty said I love the culture that the Boston Bruins are building and what they've built. They're literally. I know Habs fans will be like, we're not the next Boston Bruins, but what if we are the next Boston Bruins? And the Boston Bruins made the playoffs God knows how many times without having to draft too high because they were strong every year.
And that culture, and that's the culture that made, I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure you guys can all agree to this. We've always hated the Bruins and the Leafs, okay? Because there were the rivalries of the Montreal Canadiens for years. Forever. But I found a way to still hate the Leafs, and I'll never, ever in a million years have any love for these guys, ever. You'll never catch me say once that I want these guys to win or see them happy. But I found a way to respect the Bruins.
Yeah, we all did.
And that's coming from the culture those guys built. It's
a winning culture.
A winning culture and a respected culture. And this is what's coming here. And I really hope it continues. I'm sorry to say his name again, PLD. I know we're going to talk about him again. But if he signs with the Montreal Canadiens more than over the Suzuki salary, that just kills everything we just said right now.
Well, look, I hold. We got to hold up on this fucking Pierre-Luc Dubois talk. Like, we still got to talk a bit about Cole, man. Like, come on, this is about him. Fuck Dubois, seriously. Like, we say it. Cole is Nick Suzuki's right-hand man right now on this team. Right now, he's his right-hand man. Cole is, and Marty on the Spitting Chicklets podcast said, like, Cole's energy is so contagious in a positive way. And I think the next guy, the guy after Cole to be part of that leadership is Caden Gooley. Like, Cole has that positive energy. He's always smiling. He's always laughing. He always makes everybody feel good. But I think
Arbor is going to make a case for himself just alongside Gooley.
You know what? Caden Gooley, I think, in the future is going to hold guys accountable, like Shea Weber. Like Caden Gooley is going to be that not captain serious because he's not going to be the captain unless something happens to Suzuki. But Caden Gooley has that serious factor. Okay. But those three, I'm putting those three as the core leaders of this team in the near future. Like it starts now. I'm telling you, Caden Gooley, the way he played in his rookie season, nobody thought he was a rookie just the way he was playing. If he keeps getting better and better and stays healthy, like holy shit. And I truly believe Caufield's contract is going to influence someone like Caden Gooley to be like, look, you're going to get paid. You probably it might look like you're getting underpaid, but you're not. But I have a feeling too, Caden Gooley is going to get an 8-year deal. I think Kent Hughes, if he sees that it's working with my top two guys that are the leaders of this team, it's going to influence the rest in a positive way. I truly believe that. Like, guys, I just couldn't stand hearing people like, oh, he hasn't done much yet. He hasn't even played. He's only played 123 games. Like he didn't even play a full season. How do they give that much? The kid scores goals. He scores goals. Like I don't care if he's small. I don't give a shit. He scores goals.
Yeah.
Like what like and okay, yeah, but he got injured too. You want to be concerned about the injury, Joey? We're always talking about Joey. Fuck. Fine. That procedure he went through has practically 100% success rate. You know, it worked for Josh Anderson, who's a lot more physical, who has a lot more of a physical game than Caufield does. Like, yeah, okay, you're worried, fine, legit, but why? Like, there's nothing but positivity here. Like
anybody can get injured. I know
exactly anybody.
Anything can happen. You know,
exactly.
One big hit. Look, Evans was an awesome player. That hit just destroyed him, right? So
him up big time.
So anything can happen, right? So I think, you know, with Price leaving, sad to say that out loud, but we need a new face to this team, right? And you said it before, Sam.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Cole
is the
right hand man of Suzuki. Well, so I think right now it's the Suzuki Cole show right now. They're the face of the team.
Mm-hmm. How long after Gallagher is gone is Cole going to have that A patched onto his jersey?
Well,
I think all of 5 minutes.
Dude,
5 minutes after Gallagher gets traded.
Are you kidding me? It's there's Cole, and I'm willing to bet once again. I'm willing to bet both my nuts this time that the other assistant cap is going to Caden Gooley.
You want to know what's funny? It kind of, you saying that before, it kind of reminded me of, and fans,
what are you talking about here?
Please take this with a grain of salt, please, God. It's funny because given their positions and how they play, it reminds me a lot of Taze, Kane, and Keith.
Dude,
because you have your centerman, you have a super, like, more, let's say, talented winger, and then you have your top defenseman.
None of them got paid over $10 million, and they won cups. Vegas, nobody is getting paid over $10 million, and they might win the cup. We'll get to them later. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that Cole and Nick Suzuki are Taves and Kane. I'm not saying that Cole and Suzuki are Malkin Crosby. I'm not saying they're Ovechkin Backstrom, but I'm just saying when you have money left on the table for the team to use for key pieces, that's what helps you win a Stanley Cup. It's one of the things.
And they seem to understand that. They seem to be ready and willing. And like you said, the teetering point might in fact be Caden Gooley, because all of the guys thereafter will fall into place.
Oh my God, if he gets the exact same contract, then it's like, guys, listen.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I don't even see, to be perfectly honest with you, I see Caden Gooley maybe at the 6.7 million.
But if you give him that for $8 million, the best thing that could have happened in this contract, Chris, is any of these guys getting a bridge deal. That's the best thing that could have happened to this franchise. There's no bridge deal, which is the initial worry that why is it taking long to negotiate, which didn't. The timing was beyond perfect.
Normal.
Everybody thought that. Everybody knew the Canadiens were offering 8 years. Everybody thought that Cole wanted maybe, I think, 3 to 5 year bridge deal. And can you imagine if, like, okay, they paid him, let's say $6 million, but he scores 40, 50 goals within that bridge deal? Holy fuck, we'd have no choice but to pay him almost $9 to $10 million
Jeff
after
Jeff
just to
Skinner's
keep
getting
him.
9. Jeff Skinner is getting $9 million.
Yeah, but
Fuck.
that's
That was a
Buffalo.
That was a Bergevinism. But
yeah, kind of.
but again,
my God,
the other thing that
other
thing that I just want to add is I know we keep saying it's Suzuki and Caufield's team, like, and I think we should all reiterate. We'll all just answer with a quick yes. If there's obviously we're not going to get a McKinnon, but if we were to get like a true superstar player
in this draft, Joey would say Mishkov.
I'm saying more like an established player. If they were to come onto our team, like I don't see it being impossible that a player earns 8.5. Like I know we want Suzuki to be that top paid player, but again, I think I want to reiterate, if we are in the position to bring on a true superstar player that we consider to be better than Caufield, better than Suzuki, at the same time, I'm just trying to say I don't think the team is scared to pay them a little bit more.
Yeah,
but it's not going to change the dynamic
but
that
I
Cole
think-
but we might
and
have the
Suzuki
cap
are
space.
leaders.
But what if we have the cap space to do it?
But that's the thing. So
For
I
sure.
think to add to that statement, Chris, and I know we kept saying before, Suzuki established the fucking high standards of the contracts and the salary cap of Montreal Canadiens. But you're right. Well, Sam, you just said it. We're gonna have space for it. But not only that, I'm not saying that's out of the question, but I don't see that happening now. Okay, we're in that building.
Not right
stage.
away. Yeah, exactly.
We're in that building
Yes.
stage. That's
Good
why
point.
I think doing
Good
this
point.
now, having someone over Suzuki, is the wrong move. Let's establish this culture, this dynamic, this core of building the dynasty, and then when we need that missing piece to win, at that point, if the player who is available, who's a superstar and deserves that 8.5 or 9,
He's rubbing his head.
I got
Crosby.
No, hold on.
so maybe the 9 years
No.
prediction is real now, Sam.
Why? Hold on a sec. Time out. Caufield gets his highest paid. Let me rephrase that. I sound like a fucking.
Don't forget the cap hit, though, Sam.
Hold on.
No.
Listen. Caufield gets paid the most within the first 3 years of his contract. If we draft a certain player whose contract in Russia ends in 3 years, conspiracy, Anthony. Come on, man, help me out here, buddy.
I have another conspiracy.
If we draft a certain Russian prospect who is supposed to be almost as good or just as good as Connor Bedard, but can't come to the NHL in 3 years, but yet Caufield gets paid the most of his contract. It drops in 3 years.
Yeah, but
just
again,
then my 4 to 5 year timeline works. Because
sure, so dude, I don't forget. I said like 7 years. It's a 7-year plan. I said that like 2 years ago. Like now we're down to 5-ish. I'm just saying. Just think about it. Think about it for 1 second.
It's a very good, valid thought.
Think about it for a second. I wish Joey was here, but I'm gonna text him this tomorrow. Be like, text Joey. Be like, yo, we have a conspiracy. It's just something to think about.
When we're talking about conspiracy, conspiracy. I mean,
here we go. Pierre-Luc Dubois is not re-signing with the Jets. He's coming to Montreal.
Is it okay? There's my question.
Here we go, folks. We're gonna enter it right now.
We said last episode, I hope we don't talk about this guy for a really long time. And boom, we're talking about him again.
Look, what are we today? What are we? We're Wednesday, June 7th, and seriously, we're recording. It's 11:08 p.m. at around 7:30 p.m. The news dropped. Pierre-Luc Dubois is not resigning with the Jets, not even for a 1-year contract for whatever left of his restricted free agent
Okay
status.
is it coincidence that he announces this a day after the Cole Caufield signing?
And Pat Brisson is the same agent for both of them?
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but there's something fucking suspicious.
Something's very suspicious. So we get the signings of Cole yesterday.
Monday.
Yeah, I'm losing my dates again.
Wednesday.
Monday. Okay. We are now Wednesday night. And Pierre-Luc Dubois comes out and says, "Hey guys, I'm requesting a trade now. I'm done." Very suspicious. Same agent. Something's fishy happening. We'll see in the next couple of days. But what do you think, Chris?
Okay, and I brought it up earlier when I was saying everything that I was saying about the Caufield contract, and I'm gonna add this. I don't need to reiterate a fucking million things, but if Pierre-Luc Dubois is just another player that comes in at a salary, let's say right around the $8 million mark, for maybe not 8 years, but if he comes in for maybe 5 years at $8 million,
okay,
he just cemented that mentality, that everything that we've just discussed, the principle of team first, money second. I want to play in Montreal. I want to win here. I think what you're saying also plays into it, but I'm not ready. Like, my hopes are very high. I'm one of the people here in Montreal that truly believes that yes, this guy has been a locker room cancer elsewhere. Yes, this guy has had all sorts of things, but I genuinely think this is not, I'm sorry to say, a Jonathan Drouin situation where he says, "Oh, I want to come back and it's my dream to be a Montreal Canadian." I genuinely think Pierre-Luc Dubois has what it takes to be a Montreal Canadian, to perform here, to be a significant player, and he's got that opportunity. But I guess, again, I'd like to see him. I think he would be a fit. I even believe deep down, maybe I'm being an optimistic fan. I believe deep down he'd be willing to take that monetary sacrifice. But do the Winnipeg Jets accept the trade? I'm not so sure that they're going to make it that easy on him, considering he made it that hard on their organization.
So to answer that, and you're right, very good point. This whole PLD thing, yes, a year ago or years ago, it's 3 years we're doing this podcast. Episode 1 was a PLD talk.
Oh
and
my God.
Since then, I've always said, yes, I want PLD in my team. Last year I said it, I want him in my team, but there's something now telling me I don't. The only thing that will prove me that he deserves to be here is exactly what you just said, Chris. If he is willing to take a sacrifice, because if he comes here demanding more than what he want, like whatever we want to give him.
So just to add to that, Anthony, he made $6 million. That's what he made with Winnipeg.
If he demands more, okay, he's like, because he knows what he's capable of doing, he knows who he is, that hothead style type player. If he comes and says, "I want this," get the fuck out. Okay, you're coming here for a team culture to build. We're not ready to win tomorrow. We're not. You're here to build the core and win in a couple of years. Are you ready to take that sacrifice? And that's where it will prove to me that he's not a Jonathan Drouin. If he comes here and you give him that $8, $9, $10 million, then you know what? Fuck you. Get the fuck out.
I just want to specify. Like, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in. When I say Jonathan Drouin, I'm saying, unfortunately, somebody who doesn't have. I'm sorry, Joe.
It's
like, I always imagine sometimes this getting back to the players. I hate shitting on players, but I just don't think Joe had the mental fortitude to play in this market.
And unfortunately, it's nothing personal, but we're in the business of winning. And if you can't contribute, I'm sorry, then maybe you're not a fit here. It's nothing personal against Drouin. It really isn't.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that he was a greedy. He's not a greedy. Drouin to me is not a greedy player. He was not like some ridiculously overpaid, money hungry guy. Like I said, I just think he was mentally held back and a fearful player. Maybe.
But what could we offer the Jets? Like
Christian Dvorak has got to be one of the basic pieces.
But why would the Jets take it?
Why? Okay, Scheifele is out. He's out. PLD, who's been acting as a centerman, he's going to be out as
But
well. They're going to be missing a centerman. Now, what he just did, and this is why I'm saying this is, I don't see the Jets giving PLD what he wants so easily, because
no,
him openly stating, I'm not even signing for 1 year. You know what kind of bargaining power Winnipeg just lost? They lost
that
everything.
you just said it.
Everything.
You just stole the words out of my mouth. That just him coming out saying that is an advantage for every team in the NHL right now.
Yeah, exactly. And if the Canadiens, if they say no to the Canadiens, they're going to say yes to somebody else. You got to think that too. Like if the Canadiens are offering, oh, okay, well, I'll give you Florida's pick, whatever happens to them, either pick 30, 31 or pick 32. And if the Jets say no, well, there's going to be some other team somewhere that could give a better offer. But most importantly, I think we're all forgetting this, is that the team that's going to trade for him better make sure they're able to sign him. That's another thing too, huh?
Yep.
So right now you got to think, even even if you put Carey Price on the LTIR, everything they have right now, without signing Raphael Harvey-Pinard, without signing, let's even go with Jesse Ilonen, even though I think he's going to start the season in Laval if he does get signed. The Canadiens, with their cap space, with Price's contract on LTIR, is only just shy above $11 million.
So
it's like you could use it to kind of sign Dubois, but you know what I mean? I don't know if they have much wiggle room though. Like, don't forget that there's that, and right now they have enough room to sign contracts, but you got to remember, in your 23 roster lineup, they already have 20 guys that are there.
Are you willing to get rid of Anderson? Big contract. He's a player that Winnipeg would probably need.
No, because if Pierre-Luc Dubois does come here, I want to see him play with a guy like Josh Anderson.
They love.
I might even want to put Uri Slafkovsky on that line like that, because if you do, let's talk in theory here. Pierre-Luc Dubois is a Montreal Canadien. You still keep Nick Suzuki as your number one center. You keep Pierre-Luc Dubois as your number two. With Nick Suzuki, you have Cole Caufield. You put Kirby Dach back there. Your second line, Pierre-Luc Dubois, with Josh Anderson on the right, Uri Slafkovsky on the left.
No, and I only said Anderson.
I'll be right back.
Get out. Don't show this on screen. Get out.
I only brought up Anderson not because I want him out, but I'm just trying to think of what would Winnipeg want.
They might ask for him. For sure, they're going to ask for him.
But you're not going to get rid of Dubois for just a 31st pick. Like, that's not going to happen. We got to sacrifice something.
They're probably going to have to. You're probably going to have to give up prospects. So they're going to have to go down the list and see which prospect in our depth chart can we afford to give away without having to sacrifice too much. But let's say if you do trade Anderson for Dubois, you don't win in the end, because you're going to have to pay more than Josh Anderson. So it's going to actually cost you a lot more on the salary cap.
I have a strong feeling that Mailloux is gone if this trade happens.
No, I'm not convinced. The guy in question, the young player that I have in mind that I think is going to be, it's Jordan Harris. Jordan Harris is the guy that's I think at risk of going if they're getting a significant piece from any team. But this is why I keep reiterating, Sammy, and I don't know if it was Sammy and I, or we had the conversation in another one of our podcasts. Kent Hughes, after the draft, his priorities, and we keep saying, well, it's not that urgent. They're not competing this year. They're not doing. Brendan Gallagher, Yoel Armia, Mike Hoffman, and Christian Dvorak. Those we did the calculation. It was Sammy and I. We did the calculations. It's $18.95 million on the cap for those 4 contracts. Kent Hughes has to do whatever he has to do. I mean, Mike Hoffman, he's got 1 more year, so okay, it's fine.
Gone after.
But that Brendan Gallagher contract, I'm willing to take a step back and say, if we need to use that Florida pick to get rid of. I don't give a shit if it's a first round draft
So
pick.
kind of like a Sean Monahan.
Yes, we're getting into a fucking time that we're actually going to have to. We're absolutely going to have to pay to get rid of Brendan Gallagher's contract, or it's not next year. If PLD, if let's say behind the scenes, there's obviously there's talks. They can't say that they're legally talking, but if Kent Hughes is aware that PLD wants to come here and they're in a position to make a move for him, it's not next year that you're buying out Gallagher or you're trading his contract. It's now. These contracts have to go now. Kent Hughes has to start moving fucking now or by the draft so that this shit could happen. Those 4 contracts are completely murdering us. And if we look at it from afar, I think we're all in agreement. Those 4 guys will not be here, will not have a significant impact. They don't fit the culture. They will not be of relevance when the Montreal Canadiens are going to be competing for the Stanley Cup. So clear them the fuck out so we can start making that shift today, not tomorrow, not next year.
You keep Edmondson and David Savard for one. I mean,
No
Joel Edmondson has
problem.
one more year. You keep David Savard one more year next season just as that mentor on defense. But yeah, I agree. Like, but we all know those contracts eventually are going to go. My whole question is do we see Pierre-Luc Dubois, if he does, Kent Hughes wants someone that's going to contribute long-term, not short-term. Is Pierre-Luc Dubois that guy? And he's still young. He's 24, turning 25. Could he contribute to that long-term for another 5? Could he contribute 5-6 years to this team? I think that's the ultimate question. And I think that's the ultimate deciding. I think that's the deciding factor.
I agree with that because I think now is his prime. And are we ready to win now? And I don't think
we're not.
I'm actually
we're
saying
still,
that, Joey. I'm admitting that we're not ready.
We're still a year or two away from now competing in playoffs. So, anyways,
if PLD comes here, we get a guy like Will Smith, or we get Carlson. Michkov, we can't factor him in for another 3 years if that's the case. But if PLD comes here and we clear out, we stay healthy.
Well,
are we competing for the playoffs? Yes or no?
Yes.
Well,
are we playing?
No matter what happens, PLD or not, we're going into this season competing for playoffs. Okay, I don't see them going in this season like the way they did last year, and even at that,
they're gonna try to play a notch above. I still say, I'm not sure if they're gonna make it. Who knows? Anything could happen. But I think they're going to do a bit like the Ottawa Senators. They're actually going to try to fight for a spot, for one of the last spots, or make wild card.
I'm seeing that happening next year. I don't see them playing the way they did this year. And imagine they played very well at certain points of the season with a bunch of injuries.
Yeah, so
a healthy Montreal Canadiens team on paper could be a playoff team.
But let me ask you guys this though, and then we'll finish off with one more segment. But do you think, since Pat Brisson is both their agents, do you think Pat Brisson gave or somehow able to negotiate, not that Caufield is underpaid, but the amount that Caufield get, do you think he negotiated that to leave room for a potential Pierre-Luc Dubois trade and signing?
The timing, I'm sorry, is just so perfect. If we sign PLD or trade for PLD in the next couple of days or before draft or whatever it is, you're right. They spoke before it happened because look at the timing. Monday, the salary is a notch 25,000 less than Suzuki. We have room for PLD. I'm sorry, but everything is just falling into place perfectly.
We only have room for PLD, knowing that price is on LTIR, which is most likely to happen. But don't forget, you still have Raphael Harvey-Pinard to sign, who I think deserves a contract and a permanent spot on the Canadiens roster. So it's interesting. Just when I thought the Pierre-Luc Dubois talk was finally dying off, all focus is on Caufield, and this motherfucker has to pop back in. Boys, let's close it off with this. Look, man, Vegas is leading Florida 2-0. Something I didn't think would happen, but at the same time, too, I'm not surprised. So let's just make it quick. Talk about this real quick. Are the Florida Panthers in trouble?
They have to fucking get more disciplined. That's what's killing them right now.
Yep.
They are spending so much time in that penalty box
Yep.
that is killing them. You know, I heard this on 690 this morning where Carolina and Vegas were one of the two top blue line team, like had
Yeah.
the hottest top blue lines in
Yeah.
the
In the
playoffs.
playoffs. Yeah.
Okay,
That's true.
and
Yeah.
Carolina was Florida happened to break Carolina's blue line. They're not able to do that with Vegas right now. They have to find a way to break it. The way it looks, Vegas can win in 4, but that's because
Back. Yeah.
but that's because of Florida. If Florida can come out more disciplined tomorrow, I think they can turn this around. I'm not saying that Florida's out of the waters yet. Okay. Sorry. I said that wrong. I said that wrong. I don't think Vegas can blow this out of the waters yet. I think Vegas still has Florida still has a chance. But I think tomorrow decides that factor. Because you lose tomorrow, I see this game finishing
Oh
in
my
4 or
God.
5.
Yeah. Florida has no choice but to win both home games, and they're pretty good at home. They have no choice because if Vegas takes just one of those games,
I think
I
tomorrow
still
is a factor. Tomorrow's it. Because
I still think Florida's going to win one, whether it's Thursday night, whether it's game 3 or game 4, whichever happens. Here's my scenario: if Vegas wins one game in Florida, they're winning it in 5. They're winning the Stanley Cup in game 5 in front of their fans.
No. So this is how I see. This is my scenario, Joey. See, tonight it's a bunch of scenarios, and then I want to hear Chris's scenario. I think tomorrow's game is key for Florida. Okay, so if you're listening to this episode tomorrow morning, which you will, tonight's game is very key for Florida.
Thursday night.
Because you win tonight, you're back in it. Even if Vegas wins game 4, they go back home, I don't see them finishing it off there.
Wow, okay.
I think tomorrow is key for Florida. Just stay out of the box. Stay out of the box. And it pisses me off because, and that's what's killing them, because we had said at the beginning that this was going to be, I said it might be very conservative because we have 2 powerhouse teams that are goal scorers. So they either come out conservative because they're both scared and playing it safe, or they're going to explode, but only one team is exploding. One team is exploding. And again, it's because Florida is not disciplined. And that's the problem. And one last thing, and then Chris, you can talk. I've been seeing a lot on social media the last couple of days and weeks that Florida is the Montreal Canadiens 2 years ago.
Worse. And
they're comparing the same thing, you know.
And it might happen in these finals too.
You know, you're fighting for playoffs. You squeeze in, and you beat the number 1 seed, and you beat all the fucking play team, and then you reach to the Stanley Cup Finals, and you just break.
Collapse.
And this is what's happening right now to Florida.
And you get a $10 million goalie who's playing out of his mind. And go, Chris.
Well, that's actually a great transition because I had my money on Bobrovsky actually being able to continue on through, and it's been the other way around. Hill
Breaking
has
news.
been making
breaking news. He's human.
Yeah, well, it's more like, we posted a reel with Hill making the save a la Braden Holtby, and it's very much
nuts. Yeah.
Like I never thought that he would continue to perform as such. So the goaltending has been one. The goaltending battle to date is one. Florida still hasn't played at home, so it remains to be seen. I agree with everything you guys said on that front. Number 2 is I was betting on Florida to be able to bully the Vegas Golden Knights. It's been the complete opposite. It's actually.
Sorry, let me intercept here. Florida is trying to bully. Dude, Vegas is not backing down. They are not getting intimidated whatsoever. You know what Marty St. Louis says? The pack mentality? Dude, Vegas has it to the fucking T.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's showing, like, honestly, Florida was able to bully and scare and hurt other teams and other players, and they haven't, like, I even said it in the prediction. I thought that Florida was going to be able to do it to Vegas as well, and good on Vegas for holding their ground on that end. And I guess I don't know. I'd leave it on those two factors being the most significant. Obviously, the penalties and what have you. But I think to me, those are the difference makers, the biggest difference makers to date. And can Florida turn it around? Are they genuinely in trouble? We'll know after their home games. And it's easy to say if they, let's say, if they lose tomorrow and they're down 3-0, it's easy to say we'll know after those games, well, for sure. But there is a very good possibility that they go back to Florida and they bring it back and it's 2-2. And if it's 2-2,
then
you
we got a
know,
whole new series.
a whole new series.
But to me, is dude, that Barbashev hit on Gudas. Oh my god, like that right there, that hit alone just demonstrate that there's no fucking way we're letting you guys intimidate us. And the Matthew Tkachuk hit on Eichel, beautiful hockey hit. That was a beautifully timed hockey hit. But the way the team reacted afterwards, everybody jumped on Matthew Tkachuk. That's the pack mentality. Excuse me. That's the pack mentality. And they're not backing down.
And I think we had said this in our prediction. So Vegas was the most penalized team in the playoffs before this series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they're out of the fucking box.
It's nuts. It makes a whole difference.
It makes a whole big difference. They were the most penalized team in the playoffs. We had said in our prediction, two factors they're going to win the Stanley Cup. Two factors. It was who's coming out wanting it more, who has more heart. That's the same thing. And the hottest goalie. Those were the two factors we had said during our prediction. And right now, all we're seeing is Vegas wants it more. They're playing with fucking heart. They're playing with that pack mentality, like you just said, Sam. And Hill is fucking hot.
Yeah, so is Jonathan Marchessault. Dude, that guy woke up at the perfect time. Like, seriously, I know we were all raving about Florida, rightfully so. We were all saying, my God, Bobrovsky or Matthew Tkachuk for Conn Smythe. Yo, let's take this to Vegas. If they win the cup, who wins the Conn Smythe? I think it's
Eichel.
Dude,
Eichel, Hill.
I love Jack Eichel, but man, you gotta throw in Jonathan Marchessault in that subject, dude.
100% Marchessault.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
it comes down to those three, but like it's close. It's so close because Jack Eichel is the best centerman in the game right now, or at least in these playoffs. Aiden Hill is outperforming Bobrovsky. Let's be honest, he is. Bobrovsky loved what he did so far. It's just they figured him out. He's human. All the goals, they're like, oh, he screened. Just throw it on net. He can't see it. That puck is going in, which is what they've been doing. And Jonathan Marchessault, what a time to wake up and really bring your game to another level, man.
Yep.
And I think a player like him, you know, the lesson learned from losing in the finals against Washington, and then all those years losing the playoffs, especially losing against the Canadiens the way they did and not making it the playoffs last year. Sometimes you need to experience the lows before you reach the high ground. You know, I was watching the Michael Jordan documentary. Everybody went through it. You need to lose first in order to learn how to win.
Yeah,
that's I think that's what we all forget here.
Big Bon Jovi saying, you know, you can't win until you're not afraid to lose.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to bed. All right. But yeah, listen, game 3 Thursday night in Florida. Guys, I think we pretty much made the rounds here.
So much for a 30-minute episode.
Yeah,
we just.
No, but we had so much to talk about.
Yeah, we doubled the time. It was awesome. Well, listen, that's a wrap for the Curfew Boys. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this special new episode. Listen, please share with a friend, subscribe, tell everybody about us, fellow Habs fans. Tell your Leafs fans if you have any. Tell your Ottawa Senators friends. If you tell your unhappy friends about us as well. Please click like and subscribe to the Curfew Boys.
Hold on. If I want to see the true fans out there, if you made it this far to this episode, I'm going to say something right now, and I want you to message the Curfew Boys inbox after you listen to this episode. So if you made it this far, I want a message in our group. The Curfew Boys will be announcing something crazy soon. Okay? I'm not saying in a couple of days or weeks. We don't know yet, but something big's coming with the Curfew Boys. If you heard this, because you made it this far. You're a true fan, and we will tell you what the surprise is. Okay?
That's
so if
fair
you
enough.
message the Curfew Boys podcast tomorrow on Instagram, hey, I made it to the end. What is the special surprise coming? We will tell you.
That's fair enough. We're also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You cannot message us through there, but yes, you could reach us through Instagram or Facebook.
Or call Joey at 514. No, I'm just joking.
What is this? You can find Joey on Twitter, Joey Palmieri on Twitter. Message him there, send him a DM. You can find him on Instagram. You can send him a DM as well. Listen, folks, thanks again for tuning in. If you reached it this far, hopefully you did. Chris, Anthony, awesome show as always. It's getting late. Have a good night's sleep. Enjoy the game, everybody. Game 3. Until then,
Bye now.
Bye now.
Bye now.